In this next part, what we will do is we're going to create some furniture elements here in this bedroom part of these building modules. So I will start by drawing a queen size bed, and I'll start by the midpoint here and draw a line 2 inches and continue that line. I'm just going to put ortho mode on, 6'8". Okay, the length of a queen size bed, and I will offset that half the distance of the width, and just connect the endpoints. Okay, to get a rectangle. I'm going to erase that little part, but I'll keep this for a moment. So I'm going to kind of create something so I know which side of the bed is up. And so we'll offset a little area here, and we'll kind of draw in some pillows. All right, so let's offset 3 inches, and then offset 1.5. Okay. And so then we'll do a bunch of trimming or filleting. Let's start with fillet. All right, there. Now trim. Okay, let's do that all at once and trim there. That one here can be erased, and let's trim off all these guys. There we go. All right, so now we know basically what's up. So I'm going to create I'm going to start a command called block. So I start that command by typing the letter B. Brings me to a dialog box, asks me to name my block. So I'm going to name my block bed queen. Okay, a block definition requires that you not only pick the elements that you want in the block, but you need to pick a reference point. So I'm about to do that now. Okay, I did that. Click pick point, click my point, and here finally select the elements that I want in the block. Automatically it chooses convert to block, which means it's just going to create a block wherever you define the elements of the block. So this is no longer just a series of lines, it's a block. When you click on it, it tells you it's a block reference. You scroll down here, it tells you the name is called bed queen. Now I created the elements on the temp layer, which is actually not a good idea. Okay, the reason why is because if ever you turn off the temp layer, okay, I'm going here in the layer properties manager, okay, that block will now disappear, which is not good. Okay, you need to have this on its own layer. Okay, now it's not just the block, but the elements that are on the temp layer. Okay, so this is something, kind of a concept, might be a little hard to get used to initially, but not only the elements, but the block have their own layers. So first thing is, let's create a layer for furniture. So a fern. Okay. Now it's gotten all the characteristics of the temp layer, which is not good. So make sure it's printable. And let's choose a color. And I'll choose this kind of like darker gray down at the bottom. Now, you know, according to how things have worked before, we were able to just choose an object, okay, and just choose the layer we wanted on, and poof, it changed color. Now, nothing happened here. Okay, now that's because what we did is, again, we created the original objects on a specific layer. So those original objects are still bound to that layer. Okay, once again, if we were to turn off the temp layer, the object would disappear. you'll notice when I select the block tells me it's on layer A Fern. So once it has its own layer. Now, in order for us to get similar behavior, that we have with objects, that we select them and we say, change this to the fern layer, and it changes color. Okay, we need to create blocks on layer 0. Okay, the original objects need to be created on layer 0. So we didn't do this in this case. So let's go ahead and edit this block. So I'm going to select it, right click on it, and go to block editor. Okay, so it'll bring me to a different kind of space where all I'm doing is editing the block. I'm going to choose all my elements. You can see that the elements, all of them are on the temp layer. And I'm going to say, okay, switch those to layer 0. Okay, that's all we wanted to do. We close the block editor. It asks us to, do we want to save the changes to the block definition bed queen? Okay, we say, yeah, that's what we want. And you can see immediately when we get back into our drawing that has assigned the color of a fern to our block. So that's a good thing. Let's go ahead and create a couple more blocks. This time you can see my current layer is 0. So I'm going to draw again. I'll use a short little line just so I'm off the wall, and I'll create a line 19.5 units. I'm going to draw a dresser over here, and the dresser is 5 feet 3 inches, so that's 2'6" plus 1.5 inches, so 2'7.5". Okay, that's half of that. All right, and let's draw a couple lines to finish our rectangle, and we might want to draw a little something so we know again what's the front and what's not the front. So let's take that line, okay, and we'll offset them all 1 inch. Okay, making like basically the front of a dresser drawer. They often don't stick out like that, but anyway, just want to have something to make it look like there's a drawer there. All right, and eliminate our extra lines. Okay, select them all like that and erase. Okay, so let's create this block. Okay, go into the block command again. We'll dresser. Okay, our reference point there. Select our objects. Okay, and convert to block. Okay, so now this time our original objects were on layer 0. When we created the block, okay, the block also is on layer 0, but in this case, when we move it to the correct layer, it'll take on the correct color. All right, so finally, let's just create one more block, and we'll do a nightstand this time. Okay, so let's say 19.5 again for the depth. Let's use 20 inches for the width, not quite a square. Okay, and 19.5, and now I shouldn't close, I should click here. So let's eliminate that, and like I said, one final block. We'll call it nightstand. Okay, and why don't we leave a space, pick a point, and convert it to block. Select our objects, of course. Got to select objects. All right, and click OK. Make sure it's on the right layer. This time I'm going to match like that. And finally, one last thing is let's go ahead and mirror this to the other side. So we have matching nightstand. So there you have it. Creating a few blocks and converting them so that they are in the drawing.